You guys, we are back from our trip through France, where we got to see Paris, Normandy, Alsace, and Lyon, and it was an amazing vacation. But now that we're home and looking back on the trip, here are 6 things that we would do differently next time. And if you're planning a trip to France, this will save you time, stress, and a few surprises. Number 1 is be strategic about sit-down meals. One of the biggest things we learned is that in France, and actually in a lot of other European countries, if you're short on time, be very strategic about sit-down meals. French meals are not rushed at all, which is beautiful, unless you have time tickets, a train to catch, or only one afternoon in a city. If you sit down for a full lunch or dinner, just assume it's gonna take a while. And honestly, it should. That's part of the culture, to enjoy the experience. But here is what we would do next time. Only plan sit-down meals on slower days, or only if the restaurant is on our bucket list, like Le Procope in Paris. That was a restaurant that we specifically went there to see. Otherwise, if you're short on time, try grabbing something to eat at cafes or bakeries or market stalls. Some of those meals ended up being some of our favorites on the trip. Number 2, business hours outside of Paris are, let's just say, flexible. This surprised us. Outside of Paris especially, listed business hours are more like suggestions. You might have a dinner reservation at 6:30, but the doors might not actually open until 6:45, 6:50, maybe a little bit later, and no one is really stressed about it except you. And honestly, that's fair. We are big believers that if you are visiting a country, then you should adapt to their culture and pace of life, not the other way around. So what we would do differently next time is we would build in more buffer time in the evenings to grab a meal, and we wouldn't show up to dinner super hungry and expecting to eat right away. France just moves slower, and visiting France means adapting to that way of life. Number 3, learn more of the language than you think you need. Now, before we left on our trip, I did take some lessons on Duolingo, but apparently not enough. And while you don't need to be fluent to travel, knowing a little bit of the language goes a long way, especially outside of major tourist areas. Even imperfect attempts at language changed how interactions felt. Greetings mattered, politeness mattered, effort mattered. So next time, I would focus less on vocabulary lists and more on practical phrases that we would use every day. Pause here. If you haven't seen the full France series yet, we've linked to the entire playlist below. Each video covers a different region and experience, and this video that you're watching right now really ties everything together. Alright, back to the video. Number 4, reserve tickets but expect lines. Definitely reserve tickets in advance for major attractions, but be emotionally prepared to still wait in line. Timed entry tickets usually mean less waiting, not zero waiting. For example, we booked timed tickets to the Louvre and still had to wait about an hour just to get through security.
So we are here at the Louvre, and it literally took us 30 minutes to find the right line. There's lines outside, there's lines going everywhere. We finally found this side door that brought us here. Not sure how other people got here, but I would definitely recommend coming here 30 minutes early just to find the right line that you're going into. So check this out. This is the line, goes all the way around the side. And we have tickets already. Well, you have to buy your tickets online.
A few moments later.
It's been 40 minutes since we got in line, and not really sure where the end of the line is, but probably another 30 minutes before we get inside. It took us 20 minutes to find our line because there were so many different lines, and then so far it's been about 40 minutes. So I would say just plan on like 90 minutes before your appointment. Make sure to be here.
One eternity later.
About an hour later, we are here at the entrance of the Louvre, so it's an hour wait.
The big exception here are guided tours. When we did a tour at Versailles, we entered through a separate entrance and barely waited at all. I would say that's like a huge benefit of booking a tour. So the next time we're in France, we'd either book more group tours to see these attractions if we didn't want to wait, or simply build extra time into the schedule for security lines. Number 5, leave more room in your schedule to breathe. Grant and I get so excited when we travel that we want to see everything. And if you've watched the first few videos in this series, you know that within about 36 hours of landing in Paris, after an 11-hour red-eye, we toured Versailles, ate at the oldest cafe in Paris, saw the Louvre, had champagne at the top of the Eiffel Tower, and did a dinner cruise on the Seine. It was amazing, and also just a lot.
Thank God we were able to get an early check-in, because I do not know what I would do if I just had to keep going. As you can see from this big vein in my forehead, it's been a long day of traveling. We left San Francisco at 2 in the afternoon on a Friday and landed here in Paris around 10 a.m. We have about an hour to take a very quick power nap, and then we're going to head over to meet up with our tour group to visit Versailles. Priority number 1 right now is to make sure that we get a little bit of sleep to make sure we can power through the rest of the day.
So this advice I genuinely believe. Even though, full transparency, there's a good chance I will not follow my own advice next time. Take more time to settle in, slow down, and just let the trip unfold a bit. Our last tip isn't really about doing something differently, it's about doing more of it. And that's simply spending more time in France. We both completely fell in love with this country. The food, the history, the architecture, and the people. Honestly feels like you could live here for a year and still barely scratch the surface. If anything, this trip just made us want to come back sooner and stay longer. Overall, we wouldn't change the trip, just modify a little bit how we move through it. If you're planning a France trip, we've linked the tours, tickets, and resources we actually used and would use again below. And if you want to see how these lessons played out in real time, the full France playlist is also linked there. And if you've already been to France, we would love to know, what's something that you would do differently next time? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.